The 2004 NBA Finals were supposed to be a coronation. 4 future Hall of Famers, Kobe, Shaq, Malone, Payton. Every headline screamed dynasty. But what if I told you they weren't just beaten? They were outsmarted, outworked, and outclassed. The Detroit Pistons didn't just win, they broke the blueprint. No superstars, no hype, just defense, discipline, and a system that cracked the code. Drop a comment. Was this the greatest finals upset of the modern era? Or did the Lakers just beat themselves? The Lakers entered the 2004 finals carrying the weight of sky-high expectations. Odds makers had them as heavy favorites, pointing to their lineup of Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Karl Malone, and Gary Payton as proof the title was already in the bag. Analysts called it one of the greatest collections of veteran talent ever assembled. But most people missed the warning signs. Malone battled a knee injury that nagged him all season and ultimately forced him out of Game 5. Payton never found his rhythm in the triangle offense, looking out of place next to stars who demanded the ball. And while the starting 5 boasted Hall of Fame names, LA's bench was paper thin. When the stars stalled, the scoring dried up. The regular season win total masked deeper issues. Shaq and Kobe carried the load night after night, but tension between them was at an all-time high. Meanwhile, the role players were inconsistent at best, giving opponents a blueprint to exploit. What looked like dominance on paper was really a team with cracks just beneath the surface. Detroit's coaching staff saw what the headlines didn't. Larry Brown and his assistants pored over film, dissecting every movement and matchup. They spotted the vulnerabilities: Malone's limited mobility, Payton's discomfort under physical pressure, and a roster built on stars but weak in the margins. They also saw that while the Lakers had elite individual talent, their team defense was nothing to fear. Even after LA clawed through the Western Conference playoffs, they looked worn down. But the narrative never shifted. Most believed their star power would overwhelm the East, Detroit included. The Pistons, they didn't buy it. Inside their locker room, they weren't just hoping for a shot, they were scheming to break the dynasty apart. The Pistons' blueprint for an upset rested on one powerful belief: collective execution beats individual stardom. While the Lakers depended on moments of brilliance from their stars, Detroit operated like a machine. System over ego. Head coach Larry Brown drilled his teams on rolls, rotations, and relentless effort. This wasn't a team of stars. It was a unit synchronized on both ends of the floor. The result? One of the most disciplined defenses the league had seen in years. The trade for Rasheed Wallace in February was the missing gear. He added defensive versatility and offensive spacing, plugging perfectly into Detroit's identity. Paired with Ben Wallace, the two formed a front line opponents couldn't bully or outpace. After Rasheed's arrival, Detroit held multiple playoff teams under 70 points and climbed to one of the top defensive ratings in the league. Their starting 5 fit like puzzle pieces. Ben Wallace, elite rim protector and glass cleaner. Chauncey Billups, calm playmaker and clutch scorer. Rip Hamilton, perpetual motion and mid-range maestro. Tayshaun Prince, long, switchable wing with lockdown instincts. Rasheed Wallace, defensive glue, timely shooting, vocal swagger. In the finals, Billups averaged 21 points and earned MVP honors. Ben Wallace pulled down nearly 14 boards per game. These weren't accidental numbers. They were the output of trust, chemistry, and preparation. But Detroit's edge didn't end with the starters. Corliss Williamson, Mehmet Okur, and Lindsey Hunter came off the bench and didn't just hold leads, they extended them. While the Lakers leaned on worn-down legs, Detroit kept rotating in fresh fuel. That depth advantage became one of the clearest gaps in the series. Despite finishing with 54 wins and the league's best defense, the Pistons arrived in the finals labeled as limited, low scoring, and lucky. But that was the myth. The truth? Detroit had 5 legit scorers, a defensive identity forged in fire, and the kind of veteran calm that thrives when the lights burned brightest. And in Game 1, they lit the fuse. Game 1 at Staples Center was supposed to be the Lakers' coronation. Instead, the Pistons walked in, hijacked the script, and made the moment theirs. Their game plan was simple but bold. Play Shaq straight up. Make Kobe carry the weight. Shut down everybody else. And it worked. Shaq dropped 34, but the rest of the Lakers starters combined for just 15. Malone hobbling gave them 4. Payton outmatched gave them 3. Kobe finished with 25, but needed 27 shots to get there. Tayshaun Prince's length forced him into contested fadeaways all night. On the other end, Detroit played jazz. Every starter hit double digits. The bench added 19 more, compared to just 4 from LA. That's what made Detroit so hard to scout. You couldn't game plan for everyone. But the defining element of the night wasn't scoring. It was tempo. Detroit slowed the game to a crawl, dragged the Lakers into half-court sets, and dictated every possession with surgical discipline. They refused to double Shaq, so no kick-out threes, no fast breaks, no chaos. Just brutal, grinding defense and perfect rotations. The result? Lakers shot 39%, only managed 75 points. At home, in the finals. And when it mattered most, Detroit didn't blink. Ice in their veins down the stretch. Final score, Detroit 87, Los Angeles 75. The Pistons didn't just win, they imposed their will. And this was only Game 1. What the world saw as discipline, the Lakers would come to know as devastation. The Pistons' defense in this series? A case study in trust, discipline, and surgical execution. The Lakers had 2 generational scorers. Detroit didn't panic. No gimmicks, no over-rotating traps, just a plan built on trust. Trust Ben Wallace to protect the rim. Trust Tayshaun Prince to stay glued to Kobe. Trust each other to rotate like clockwork. The result? A defensive masterclass that turned LA's Superteam into a highlight reel of frustration. They played Shaq mostly straight up. Wallace and Eldon Campbell made him work for every inch, pushed him off his spots, cut off his angles. They dared him to beat them one-on-one, but never let him unlock the shooters. No help, no kickouts, no rhythm. And then there was Tayshaun Prince, long, disciplined, unshakable. He stayed down on fakes, contested every look, and funneled Kobe into mid-range traffic. Kobe still scored, but not like Kobe. He just shot 38% for the series, a stat that doesn't just tell a story, it screams it. Detroit's rotations were airtight. Drive the lane, help defense collapsed. Swing it out, closeouts were already coming. The Lakers managed just 16 assists per game, way below their regular season average. Their triangle offense reduced to iso ball and desperation. And let's talk physicality. Detroit bumped every cutter, fought through every screen, and challenged every shot with contact. The Lakers even started missing free throws, under 70% for the series. With Malone and Payton neutralized, the burden shifted squarely to Shaq and Kobe. And the deeper the series went, the heavier that weight became. Detroit didn't just defend, they deconstructed the Lakers, piece by piece, until only frustration was left. The Lakers' collapse didn't happen in one moment. It unfolded, slowly, painfully, as the cracks turned into fractures. Karl Malone, the veteran rock, was limping by Game 1 and gone by Game 5. His knee couldn't hold up. Without him, LA lost their front court anchor, exactly when they needed it most. Malone's absence wasn't just physical, it was symbolic. This wasn't a super team anymore. It was a myth coming undone. Then came Gary Payton. Detroit hunted him. Rip Hamilton ran him through screen after screen. Billups blew by him. Offensively, Payton shot barely 33%. No longer the floor general or perimeter stopper the Lakers needed. By the midpoint of the series, the future Hall of Famer looked more like a liability than a leader. And then, the Shaq-Kobe split finally showed daylight. Shaq was dominant, averaging 26.6 points on efficient shooting. But the Pistons didn't care. They cut off every other option. Kobe, forced into hero mode, 22.6 points per game at 38% shooting. Contested mid-range after mid-range. Tayshaun Prince played him like a chessboard. No easy buckets, no rhythm. And the bench, missing in action. LA's role players gave them nothing when it mattered. Turnovers piled up. Phil Jackson shuffled the lineup, but nothing stuck. Even the triangle offense, once a symphony, sounded out of tune under Detroit's relentless pressure. Detroit took Game 3, then Game 4. And in Game 5, the Lakers looked exhausted. Shaq and Kobe combined for just 36 points. The Pistons smelled blood and ended it. Final score, final chapter. A dynasty undone by defense. And what came next would rewrite the story for both teams. The aftermath of the 2004 finals reshaped both franchises fast. The Lakers unraveled within weeks. Phil Jackson resigned, Shaq was traded to Miami, Payton left, Malone retired injured. The so-called Superteam, gone in a single summer, undone by Detroit's discipline. Meanwhile, the Pistons doubled down. Their full starting five returned and reached the finals again in 2005, losing in 7 to San Antonio. From 2003 to 2008, they made 6 straight conference finals appearances. This wasn't a fluke, it was a blueprint, and the league noticed. Detroit's win sparked a shift in how teams built rosters. Front offices began prioritizing defensive versatility and balance over star power alone. Larry Brown's schemes, especially how Detroit slowed Shaq without constant double teams, became required study. Tayshaun Prince's lockdown work on Kobe became the template for modern wing defenders. Length, patience, positioning. Some say Detroit's rugged defense triggered the NBA to open up the game. Rule changes soon reduced hand-checking and gave perimeter players more space. Whether coincidence or cause, the Pistons' title stands as one of the last time a defense-first team dictated the finals. They didn't just win a championship. They changed how we understand the game. The 2004 Pistons delivered one of the most surprising finals results in modern NBA history. They showed that discipline, defense, and balance could topple a roster stacked with 4 future Hall of Famers. Instead of leaning on one superstar, Detroit thrived because every starter contributed, and together they outlasted LA's star power. Their approach left a clear legacy. It shifted how the league thought about roster building and proved that chemistry and roles could matter as much as raw talent. Chauncey Billups, named Finals MVP, symbolized that shift. Steady leadership and fit over flash. If you like this breakdown on how defense beat a super team, like and subscribe for more X&O Final deep dives.